executive producer Daniel Marins, guest hosting on the show this week. Joining us now in studio to talk about another fascinating aspect of this austerity debate is Sarah Anderson from the Institute for Policy Studies. Sarah is the director of Global Economy for the Institute for Policy Studies, IPS. You can follow her at Anderson_IPS. Sarah, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Sarah, you co-authored a report that was released this week called Corporate Pirates of the Caribbean, in which you basically explain that this Fix the Debt coalition, representing many CEOs, stands to gain tremendously profit in the hundreds of billions of dollars from many of the same proposals that they're calling responsible deficit reduction. What specifically are we talking about?
What we're talking about is what's called a territorial tax reform. So these big companies, many of which are already shifting profits to tax haven countries to avoid paying their fair share of taxes here in the U.S., want to permanently exempt their foreign earnings from U.S. taxes. So it would give an even bigger incentive for them to be hiding their profits overseas and avoiding paying their fair share to Uncle Sam. And what we did is we looked at how much these companies have already accumulated in their offshore stashes. And based on that, we estimate that if they get this territorial tax reform through Congress, they stand to gain as much as $173 billion in tax windfalls.
And we're talking about something like 59 of the Fix the Debt companies, including companies like General Electric, which we know got a $3 billion tax rebate from the federal government last year. Companies like Honeywell, companies like United Parcel Service, John Deere, mammoth companies that make tons from United States consumers, from United States workers, and yet, as you're explaining right now, many of them, through accounting tricks, report their earnings overseas in places like Bermuda and Luxembourg. And one of the interesting things about the report was that you point out that in the overseas profits of these companies make up more than the entire GDP of Bermuda and Luxembourg, and yet they're reported as being earned there. It's kind of, it's really transparent, isn't it?
Yeah, it's completely outrageous. Companies like GE have armies of tax lawyers who work every day to figure out new tricks for avoiding paying their taxes here in the United States. And pushing for this territorial tax reform is just one more of these loopholes that they're going to use to avoid paying their fair share of taxes. And it's particularly galling when they're part of this group called Fix the Debt that's out there talking about how we should have shared sacrifice. We need to be responsible. You know, everyone needs to do their fair share to deal with this deficit problem. And yet, if you look at what their agenda really is, it's about getting more tax breaks, like this territorial tax reform, and then paying for them through cuts to Social Security and Medicare.
It's a fascinating perspective, Sarah, and I encourage everyone to check out the report, Corporate Pirates of the Caribbean.